Well, police tell us that 17-year-old Xavier Johnson had been placed in the same foster home as one of his victims. And they say when it comes to that 20-year-old and his 64-year-old foster mother, that Johnson tortured them before killing them.
Robbery appears to be the motive for both homicides.
The 17-year-old suspect had only been in the home of 64-year-old Renee Gilliard for 3 days before police say he killed her. Gilliard was found stabbed to death early Wednesday morning. Her purse was dumped out. Her car was missing. Gilliard had fostered a number of children over the years. Her son is a Philadelphia police officer.
Well, arguably everybody's doing horribly. I mean, like just to live through any death in your family is a horrible experience, but to, know that your mother was murdered is just a terrible thing. And clearly, she was a good-hearted woman who really was trying to do something good, and the end result was tragic.
Police found the 17-year-old yesterday afternoon in Gilliard's SUV. He had other teens with him, and the car crashed as it was fleeing from police. Sources say the teens in the car have been cooperating. Police said early on the killing of Gilliard and the discovery of a body near Angora Terrace were connected. Sources say 20-year-old Jimmy Mao and the 17-year-old murder suspect had lived together previously as foster brothers. Mao went missing in late December. Police put his photo out in the hopes someone had seen him. When Gilliard was found dead in her home, sources say a tipster led them to the body not far from the place where the suspect and Mao had once lived together. Now, we are told by police that Johnson had 5 previous arrests. They say that they believe they were all for assault. We did ask police why Johnson was placed with a 64-year-old woman. They said they couldn't answer that question, so we did contact Philadelphia's Department of Human Services. We asked them if they had a hand in placing Johnson there. We also asked if Gilliard knew about Johnson's past. We are waiting for them to comment. Reporting live outside police headquarters, Deanna Durante, NBC 10 News.
Such a disturbing case. Deanna, thank you.
Yeah, 24 hours ago, this is where police found Jimmy Mao's body right down this alleyway in some thick brush and stuffed in a duffel bag just down the street from his house, and the last place he was seen alive 2.5 weeks ago. No one was at home at the last place where Jimmy Mao was seen alive. Last seen by the teen now accused of his murder. On the 5800 block of Angora Terrace, you can still find torn missing posters hung on utility poles. The 20-year-old went missing December 29th, and last night police found his body near some railroad tracks just off Cobbs Creek Parkway, not even a block away.
We developed information which pointed us in the area.
Mao's body was found on the same day that the murder suspect, Xavier Johnson, was caught driving a car belonging to his new foster mother of 3 days. 64-year-old Renee Gilliard was found stabbed to death in her bathtub early yesterday morning. Police say that both Mao and Johnson lived in this house at least for some time as foster children. Police said they had previously spoken with Xavier Johnson about Mao's disappearance, but they didn't learn anything useful. Today, police say they now believe the motive was robbery.
I want to emphasize here that we are at the very most preliminary stage of the criminal matter. There's a lot of investigation that we're going to continue to do, a lot of continuing discovery that we will get.
And family members say that Jimmy Mao was about to be a father, and they are planning a vigil here tonight to honor his memory. Live in Angora, Matt DeLucia, NBC 10 News.
Good morning. It is January the 19th, Sunday, January 19th, the year 2020. So a 64-year-old foster mom in Philadelphia, and I said this Philadelphia, was brutally tortured and murdered by her 17-year-old foster child that had only been in her home for a few days. Xavier Johnson, who was 17 years of age, is charged in the killings of his foster mother, Renee Gilliard, and another man he spent time with in foster care, Jimmy Mao. Police said Johnson committed the crimes as part of an effort to rob the victims. Johnson was placed in Gilliard's care just 3 days before she was killed. Xavier Johnson sought to rob 64-year-old Renee Gilliard and 20-year-old Jimmy Mao, the police say in a news conference Thursday afternoon. Johnson brutally tortured and murdered both victims. There's also a missing third person they believe the 17-year-old killed. Johnson was placed in her home 3 days before the killings. Police caught up with him in West Philadelphia late Wednesday morning when he crashed her stolen SUV following a short police chase. This is a sad story to me because you have a woman who, by all accounts, was a positive foster parent in her community, who had been serving her community, taking care of foster children for a period of time. Let me turn this phone. She had been taking care of foster children for a period of time in her home for years. She made a decision to help out the community, and she lost her life with a young man that she allowed to come into her home, and had only been there just for a few days. I was trying to find an article that talks more about the length of time that she had been doing foster care work. It's kind of crazy that this young man made this decision to murder these three innocent victims when one was in fact trying to give him a place to live. For him to be so young and to be so vicious, this is what we're seeing. We're seeing this quite frequently. We're seeing this quite frequently in our youth today. These young children do not have a problem with murdering somebody in a heartbeat. How could be 17-year-old and have no issue with murdering somebody and stuffing the body in a bag, a duffel bag, and throwing it in the alley? He stabbed him to death. Gilliard's body was discovered with multiple stab wounds in a bathtub inside her Philadelphia home. Gilliard was also the mother of a Philadelphia police officer. Police said the contents of her purse had been dumped open and her SUV was gone. Johnson, is also charged in the death of 20-year-old Jimmy Mayo, who was previously placed in the same foster home. Police say Mayo's family had been receiving ransom texts since his disappearance. Mayo's remains were found Wednesday night inside a duffel bag thrown down a hill and into a back alley. It's not clear, but they're pretty sure it's him. And 17-year-old Jacob Merrick Richburg, who police say is an acquaintance of Mayo, has also been reported missing. So it's more than likely Johnson killed him also. They just got to find his body. What would enter into a mind of a 17-year-old to kill three people? That's right. I keep telling y'all, when you come across these monsters today out there in Niggaville, welcome to Niggaville, y'all. They don't have any sense of compassion or hope. You saw that picture of that 17-year-old guy. He has tattoos all over his neck and body and on his face, a few tattoos on his face. At 17 years of age, I'm sure this man has been through hell and back. Hell and back. He's probably, you'd have to wonder, where is his real parents and mother, and who are they? The apples don't fall too far from the tree. And in this case, I bet you his parents are something else. And they don't go into any details about the foster child, Xavier Johnson. But I was trying to find that there's an article that talks more about Miss Gillard and how she was raising foster children. And she had been doing this for decades. It just makes you wonder, what enters into someone's mind to do something so heinous at 17 years of age. That's why y'all stay far away from these niggas, because they will kill you for no reason. This man robbed this woman and took her debit card and killed her. And also, the woman, she only knew him she allowed him to come to her house, and he was only in the home for 3 days. 3 days. That she was found, he was in her home. It's crazy.
Ready to go when you are.
You have to wonder about what happened, what type of person. She was just a kind, giving woman, a 64-year-old grandmother, and she fought with this man. But she died from 2 stab wounds to the neck by this monster. And they say Renee is one of the best people you could have ever known. She would feed them, clothe them, take them to school, everything. She was just a wonderful person. She was known to foster children. It's unclear whether any others were inside the home at the time. It's just almost crazy how this woman Miss Gilliard lost her life trying to help a young black man, and this is how he thanked her. Y'all better be careful out there, because it's getting much worse in our communities. Because these kids, they have no empathy or compassion towards anyone about anything, and they don't have a problem with killing somebody in a heartbeat. They don't have any problem with killing someone and taking their life. They don't care. You're just dealing with some crazy people. They're crazy, mentally ill, black children who probably should never ever have been born. But they're here and they're terrorizing our communities nationwide. This story is in Philadelphia, but you got some crazy stuff that has happened here in Atlanta, Georgia with these teenagers that's getting out of hand. This man Xavier Johnson killed Miss Gillard, took her debit card and used it at McDonald's, went shopping for sneakers at Foot Lockers, a $270 pair of Jordans for him, $70 Champions for his buddy. He bragged, "I killed the lady for all this stuff and I took everything she had." Those details emerged Thursday as Johnson was charged with the fatal stabbing of his foster mother, 64-year-old Renee Gilliard. The motive in both incidents were robbery. Johnson allegedly stole a debit card from Gilliard and a PlayStation and cash from Mayo. Before her death, Gilliard, a mother of two sons, one of them a Philadelphia police officer, had been concerned in recent days by Johnson's behavior. She planned to ask child welfare officials to place him somewhere else. Investigators believe Johnson killed Mayo before stabbing Gilliard, though they aren't certain when. Mayo's body was found Wednesday night. Johnson has been in police custody since Wednesday morning when he allegedly crashed Gilliard's SUV with three other teens from the shopping spree. I don't know what to say. Miss Gilliard had lived on the 300 block of Mechanic Street for decades, said her neighbor Madeline Harris. She was a block captain who frequently worked on her yard, planting flowers and taking care of her grass. She began serving as a foster mother 20 years ago and took in only teenage boys, more comfortable talking sports than worrying about girls. So she felt safer dealing with the teenage boys. It wouldn't matter if they were teenage boys or teenage girls in this day and age. You're all bad as hell. I think she can communicate better with the boys, Harris said. I remember saying, "Renee, are you sure you want to be taking these young men?" She said, "Madeline, I'll be okay. I'll be all right." Johnson had been in Gilliard's care for just days, 4 days, before she expressed concern to her son. She expressed concern to her son. She was frustrated that Johnson reportedly missed his 11 p.m. curfew, and on Monday night she called police to report a burglary at her home. Gilliard told a responding officer that Johnson had missed his curfew but still managed to get into the locked house. Gilliard said Johnson could stay the night, but she planned to contact a foster care agency to have him placed someplace else the next day. Investigators believe Johnson killed Gilliard sometime early the next morning. So when she told him he was going to have to go leave, he decided to kill her that night. It's sad. You can't. I don't know what's going on in these kids' minds today that they would be so vicious and so callous, not care about somebody's life. It's almost crazy. Very sad. So these kids, they have something going on mentally inside these children's minds. that they don't have any problem at all with killing somebody. And there's so many murders taking place here in Atlanta, and every time they arrest these kids, they're 15, 16, 17 years of age. And they don't care. They don't even think about what they're doing. They just do it in multiple murders. This man killed 3 people. 3. And he's only 17 years of age. They need to give him the death penalty. And it's not going to get better in our community. You're going to continue to see situations like this are going to get worse and worse and worse because these children have no direction, no hope, no nothing. No, the parents are nowhere to be found. The state's taking care of them. This kid's probably been bouncing from foster care to foster care. He's probably been abused and beaten and molested and God knows what. And he mental illness. Bad situation all the way around. But we don't see this for some odd reason in our communities. We keep pointing towards the white man saying racism is the reason why we have all these issues. But we don't even look at our own reproductive organs and say, who are these parents? Why did they have this child? And how many other brothers and sisters did they throw into foster care? Like I said, I had a cousin who lived in Detroit. She had same age as me, and she had somewhere between 20 and 30 children. I lost count. And she didn't take care of none of them. They all ended up in foster care. All of them. In Detroit. She couldn't take care of those kids. She kept having baby after baby after baby. From the time she was 13 or 14 years of age. And we are the same age. She never raised any of her children. The state took care of those kids. And they had some horrible, horrible, horrible lives. And I had another cousin did the same thing. She had a bunch of children that she couldn't take care of. Now, her children were spread between my cousins. They take care of all her kids. It just it doesn't make sense. I've never understood this. They have all these children. They can't take care of them. The children grow up miserable lives. And as for these fathers, forget about it. They're nowhere to be found. They don't even exist. I have a family member. She told me she went to a nightclub, was drunk, and partying, met some guy at the club, went outside and had sex with the guy in the back car. Someone she never even knew. She got pregnant by the guy and kept the baby. Didn't even know who he was. Didn't even know his name. Just someone she had sex with in a nightclub. That happened right here in Atlanta. And she had no idea that she mistreated this child for years. Mistreated this child that she never wanted. Because she was too stupid to get on birth control. And not use a condom when having sex. To protect herself from having a child she didn't want. I'm saying Niggaville, these people crazy. So I keep telling y'all, it's not the more you go around black folks with these issues, you're going to end up like Miss Gilliard. She was trying to help. She thought she'd give these kids an opportunity, a nice home to live in. And maybe they would respect her and be glad to have a place to stay until she can get them, maybe help them out until they got grown or something. Whatever. I don't know what her game plan was with these foster children. So she wasn't adopting them. Foster children, I don't understand. They have parents someplace. They just in the foster care. But some children are in the foster care system forever. They age out of it. You had somebody that she was had a heart and cared about these children and was trying to get them some help and an opportunity. And she lost her life. Y'all think I would allow the state of Georgia to bring some of these badass foster children into this house? Hell no. That is not going to happen. No. I know these kids are dangerous. And foolish and will kill you in a heartbeat. So anyway, I was going to just do a short video about this situation. I can't wait to read you all's comments and thoughts about this and what you all think about it. It'd be interesting to see what you all think about the foster care system and the 17-year-old kid in the deli and what he did to this woman and these 3 victims that he killed. But anyway, today is Sunday. Today is Sunday. It is Sunday, January 19th, the year is 2020. I'm out of here. You all go out and do something productive with your lives. Don't have children that you don't want to do nothing with. Use birth control and use condoms. If you don't want to have children that will later go on and kill and maim and stab and shoot and kill folks in our communities, it sure would be nice. Do us a favor. Save our lives. We would appreciate it. You all enjoy your Sunday.